Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss. If you haven't noticed, this is the towing review, and so far I've been pretty impressed. So this has the 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it's done really quite well. This truck has a big learning curve, so Chevy's changed quite a bit on the interior, how things function, all that. But as far as drivability and towing and stuff, it's been doing all right. This trailer, right now, 4,600 pounds. Let's take a look at the tongue weight. I think we're on a hill, so it might actually read a little bit low. About 500 is what it's showing, which it's actually a little bit higher than I expected it to read. So with the batteries, which are not in there, it's around 500 to 550, you know, full propane batteries loaded up. So I think that might be a little bit off right now. Anyway, that was open a little bit. And it's just a giant billboard of a trailer. So if you look at the front of it, it does have a very slight curve, but this thing gets terrible fuel mileage. Every vehicle I've towed it with ends up getting bad fuel mileage. And for example, towed this trailer, Dodge diesel, and getting, I don't know, 10 miles per gallon-ish. Towed a 11,000 pound, not gooseneck, fifth wheel trailer, and it's getting about 12 miles per gallon. So even with the extra weight and everything, they were different routes, but still, this trailer just seems to really be hard on vehicles, and which makes it great for testing, especially something like this, where this trailer is not heavy. It's not above the weight limits of this truck, obviously, and it's still going to provide a lot of wind resistance and make it hard to tow it. Here is that 2.7 liter 4-cylinder with a jumbo turbo, big old turbo right there. And in this case, it's putting out 310 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque, which is kind of the mid-level one. I think the ZR2, and maybe there's another trim level that gets a higher output as well, but in like the 430 torque range. Anyway, here at 390 torque, I believe it's one of the highest. I guess you can get a Ford Ranger with some of the performance packs and stuff that'll go above that. But anyway, a pretty high torque output on this thing that's above all the other naturally aspirated midsize trucks. So it does really good towing. And when you hear things like 310 horsepower, 390 foot-pounds of torque, when your torque's a lot higher than your horsepower, that means power comes on at a lower RPM. If you're hearing something like maybe the Tacoma, for example, that has more horsepower than torque, both of them are like 289 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's more than that. Anyway, Tacoma's got more horsepower than torque. You know it's going to have to rev way high to be able to get in the power range. On this, that's being the inverse of that, you know it's going to have a lot of torque down low, which is really nice. It does have turbo lag, but once you get to 2,000, 2,500, it really, this big turbo somehow is spinning in that range. You'd expect it because it's so big that it wouldn't spin up until higher RPM, but it does really good about 2,500 RPM. Let's go here. So it does have, this is the 4-wheel drive selector, auto, 2 high, 4 high, 4 low, and to do that you push the button in. To do the drive modes, you rotate. So we are in the tow haul mode, and we'll go ahead and stay there. And this one, if you turn the truck off, turn it back on within a short amount of time, maybe you stop and get gas, maybe you grab a little bite to eat or something, it keeps the tow haul mode on, which is really nice. Then it does have this trailer setting, so I believe it was here, and trailering, It's got this trailer suite. You can hit the start, and then you exit the vehicle and inspect the trailer lights as they turn on and off. So go down here, it's got the headlights on. You can already see that. And now let's see what it does. There you go. Brake lights. Left turn. Right turn. Everything works. So, brake lights, it just repeats, huh? I was wondering what it'd do. Left turn, right turn, yeah, so it repeats itself. Anyway, nice easy way to check once you plugged in here. This one does, of course, have the 7-pin and the 4-pin. Decent hitch here, all ready to go. I'll throw the towing capacity up on the screen because I don't know it off the top of my head for the Trail Boss trim. I do want to show you this. 1,507 pounds of payload, and the total gross vehicle weight 6,250. If we subtract that 1,500 from the 6,250, we are at 4,750 pounds. This thing's pretty lightweight. That's not, I mean, it's not super light, but that's not heavy. Not bad. I do like a few other things, not really towing related, but cargo related. You can see the bed sides, they push them way in just like they do on the mid-size trucks, or the half-ton trucks. I do like that they're kind of capturing some of the space that before it would come to here, but now you're getting an extra 2 inches or whatever in the bed, which is always nice. And what other towing features? Of course, the trailer brake controller that's built in on this, and when you pull it, it will show you there, and then you can adjust your gain plus or minus right there as well. So yeah, it's well equipped for towing. Like I said, good payload, great payload, and with all the towing features, yeah, it's really well set up for that. All right, I should have gone to the other freeway on-ramp, but I don't have anyone behind me, so we're gonna slow down quite a bit, and 20 miles an hour just to give you a decent feel of this. Yeah, I should have definitely gone to the other on-ramp, but anyway, good amount of torque on this thing. You can hear it revving up pretty high. I have it on the trip meter because I was trying to reset the trip meter. Hopefully I can get that here in the next second or two, but anyway. The new layout of this thing is not my favorite as far as functionality. It's going to take me a little bit to get used to it, and maybe it's not bad, but right now it's like I'm struggling to find all the settings. For example, the headlight switch is not a switch. There's no switch for it. It's inside the screen somewhere. So right there under lights. I don't know if that'll focus, but anyway, this thing, yeah, has good amount of torque. This trailer is not super heavy, but it's huge, and I really don't feel like I'm struggling. Let me go back to this other screen here. 2,500 RPM, 70 miles an hour, and it's pulling this trailer no problems, just cruising along just fine. Move over here. Really not bad at all in the power range. And of course, this is the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo that Chevy uses in the half-ton as well here in the Colorado. I do feel a little bit of sway this trailer, so it's still tongue heavy by a little bit. I think the trailer weighs in about 4,600 pounds and the tongue weight's about 480, so we're just barely over the 10%, but I can feel the cars driving by me pushing the trailer side to side just a little bit. I can feel it, the trailer just kind of pushing the truck around, and I am not using weight distribution hitch. So if I were to tow this trailer normally, if it were my own truck and trailer setup, I'm towing long distances, anyway, towing more than once a year, whatever, I'm definitely going to be using an equalizer weight distribution hitch that provides, great sway control, and it adds the stability and all that stuff along with weight distribution. But for these tests, I don't use weight distribution on purpose because I want to feel more of the truck and less of how well the hitch can manage things. So that's why I'm just using a regular adjustable height scale ball mount, and we'll show you that if we haven't already. But yeah, I can feel it pushing it just a little bit. This truck is equipped with the trailer towing setup. I don't know what the technology package is. And anyway, it's got a built-in trailer brake controller, which is very nice to have. And it's just overall, it's really quite good setup for towing. Payload's 1,500 pounds, which is more than many half-ton trucks that I've used, tested. So I've had even, I believe it was a Ram Rebel with everything, air suspension and all the luxury appointments inside. And anyway, it was down to like 980 for the payload, something like that. So anyway, this one at 1,500 in a midsize truck is pretty good. It leaves you enough that you can put your family in the truck with your dog, pull your trailer, and have a decent, you know, be within a reasonable amount of loading there. So we're about to start this climb. We're going from about 6,000, I lied, from about 5,000 feet, it's a little bit less, 47, up to a little over 6,000 feet. It's a long, steep grade, and fun one. It's a good test. So goes pretty good from the standstill. Launches off. First gear's low. This is 8-speed auto, and doing really good. I was kind of surprised not to see the 10-speed, but I prefer the 8-speed to the 10-speed. I've driven the 10-speed in the Ranger. I've driven many other 10-speeds, and I don't know. At some point, maybe you have too many gears. Anyway, I think now in the 8 speeds, they seem to perform about right. 6 speed, sometimes you get a little bit of dead areas where you're not in the RPM range you want to be in. But for the most part, I feel like the 8 speed compensates for all that. So this one does have tranny temp, oil pressure, coolant temperature, oil temperature, sorry, not pressure. I don't see an oil pressure gauge. And I mean, the more information you have, the better, in my opinion, but at least it has the tranny temp on there. And as far as I can tell, these aren't dummy gauges, so the trans temp's been moving up and down just a little bit. A lot of times you'll get these gauges and sensors where it just shows good until it's too hot, and then it shows that it's too hot. Like, it doesn't have much of an in-between. But this one might be actual gauge that tells you good values, so you can keep an eye on it. You can see it slowly rising or slowly going down. I'll confirm that, but for now, see, that's what it seems like. So this thing really 2,600 RPM. It's just going, like, no problem going up this hill. I don't want to go in front of this motorcycle. Speed limit's 40, so we're right at the speed limit. But I don't really like it. It's right at a bad time, I think. I should have waited another 2 minutes after he passed me before I left. So anyway, yeah, this thing is really just chugging along. Now, let's see what gear we're in. So we were in 4th, and they have the marks there. Actually, so now we're down in 3rd. If I can go down to 3, it won't downshift, but because we're down in 3rd, and it got steeper right there. Looks like the right lane ends. I don't think it does, but it must. The sign's there. Let's get out of the way of the cyclists that shouldn't be riding double wide, but do all the time. Yeah, it does end. I think it goes right back to 2 lanes in just a minute. So, there we go. Well, I think he's... Oh, he is turning. There we go. Okay. Anyway, we're going back to drive. I don't want to hold a gear, but I want the truck to do its thing. So there we go, into 4th gear. And yeah, really most impressive half-ton pulling this trailer up this hill so far. So tested the Tacoma, the Frontier. I don't know if I've done any, or sorry, not half-ton, midsize. I don't know if I've done any other midsize trucks. Tacoma and Frontier, though, this one's better than both of those. I mean, I've towed with others. I've towed with the diesel Colorado and the gas Colorado, and then towed with, what else we have? The Ford Ranger. Yeah, anyway, towed with all of those, but I haven't taken this trailer up this hill with any of them but the Frontier and the Tacoma, and now the 2023 Colorado. And they've done a really good job, I feel like. So it's pretty smooth and controlled. The towing with, you know, pulling the trailer, obviously it requires more throttle input, and it smooths things out generally. So a lot of times with turbos, you'll get some pretty heavy turbo lag and whatever, but in this case, I don't notice a lot of turbo lag. There is a little bit, and you feel it when the turbo kicks in. It really jumps and goes, but generally I don't notice much turbo lag on this. And here towing, because it stays, you know, in this 2,500-ish RPM range, man, it's no problem. The turbo on this thing, it's a bigger turbo, but it seems to be spooled up pretty early, so about 2,500 RPM. It's spooled up and ready to go, so it really is in the range as we're climbing this hill. It's right where it wants to be. It's happy and just chugging along, no problem. I'm curious to see what the fuel mileage will be after this. The steep hill, well, we're almost done with the steep hill. 6.5 is actually not bad. I'm not going to do the actual fuel, or, you know, go to the gas station, fill up, do a fuel mileage test, fill up again, check that. Anyway, so this is just the computer, but 6.5 is really not bad. Oh, yeah, 6.5 miles per gallon. We've gotten 4.6 miles. So this thing climbs, I think it's like 2,000 feet in just over 2 miles, and a lot of that, or in 3 miles, but a lot of that is in 2 miles overall. So, all right, starting down the steeper part, and I'm letting it coast right now, but I'll get on the brakes and you can see, so I'm barely braking. They're downshifted once. There it goes again, and we'll actually downshift one more if I really need to. Right now I don't. I'm just letting it kind of coast along because I want to keep around 40 miles an hour. But it does do grade braking, and I feel like this turbo does pretty good. So, you know, like they can tune, I don't know on this turbo specifically, and maybe I'll look that up, but with variable geometry turbos, they can tune the vanes and create more back pressure. Either way, this one seems to be handling it pretty okay. It has a decent amount of grade braking, and especially the next time it downshifts, when it gets up in the 4,000 RPM range, that really slows it down, keeps it under control. So overall, I mean, if you're going slow speed tuning is the hardest in my opinion. So I didn't have this on camera. I wish I did. I was going about 10 miles an hour. It's in second gear, and I was really lugging. I think I went down to almost 1,000 RPM in second gear, and then it downshifted and lurched forward and just gave me way too much power. So they could tune a little bit better there. And I mean, it's just the slow speed is the hardest area to tune in my opinion. So as you're 40 miles an hour, that's no problem. They tune it really well for the grade braking and all that stuff. When you get down to 15, 20 miles an hour, if you're in a really steep mountain curve, you know, windy hill or whatever, it's not going to be very efficient for engine braking in that range. But up here at 40 miles an hour, yeah, no problem. It's doing really good. We're going to start slowing down now and see if I can get it to go up the next one. Looks like there's actually one more beyond that. It's not going to do it. Not quite steep enough here, but even at 3,000 RPM, I mean, it does really well. So we're going to turn in here. Alright, now I have bad glare, but I'm going to show you the backup camera a little bit. So yeah, I have 3 different settings, or maybe 4. Yeah, 4. So you can turn off the lines, have the normal, this one's for the trailer, and this one is the close-up. So it works pretty well, and I do want to show you how the camera's lined up, because it's not quite centered. It's off to the side a little bit, but it's actually doing pretty well. So I generally hate those off-center cameras, and it's a tiny bit funky, but I think Chevy's done the lines and everything right. You can see the line lines up perfectly with the hitch ball in the center. That looks like it's in the center. So I mean, it does look a little bit weird, and you'll notice it when it's moving and stuff that it doesn't quite line up right, but sorry, not necessarily it doesn't quite up. It's that the angle of it's just weird. Everything lines up perfectly. So I've complained about that in the past. How can't they just program it properly? Just offset the line so it's in the center or whatever they need to do. Well, in this case, they have programmed it properly. So good job, Chevy. Still stupid that you put the camera to the side, but you made up for it by doing the proper programming to make the system work. So check this out. I went in and turned on the headlights manually. You want to see me turn them off? So the light's right there. I can't turn them off. There's no switch. It's gonna sit here and beep at me, telling me headlights are on. I imagine if I leave it, whatever, the headlights will eventually turn off, but what the heck? Like, such bad designs. Why do they keep doing this stuff? Anyway, lights, auto. Even if you turn them off, you see that? They will reset to auto on the next start off. So anyway, going to auto. Now I can turn it off. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures towing review of this 2023 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss. It really does quite well. In the power, this is the best one I've taken up here. This is quite the climb, and like I said, I haven't taken the Ford Ranger, I didn't take the Gladiator up here. I towed this trailer with all those vehicles, but I haven't done this exact hill, and it's really doing quite well. No issues at all. I love hanging out at 2,500 RPM rather than, you know, 35, or if you're in the Tacoma, you're 5,000-ish. Anyway, this thing really performs excellent. Pulling this billboard of a trailer, not real heavy, 4,600 pounds, but pulling it up the hill, did amazing. Very impressive with that. Downhill grade braking, all that was great. I have my own personal issues with the truck, with the electronic suite and stuff like that, but that's separate from the towing, so we won't complain about that anymore. But overall, really quite a good truck, and did excellent. The fuel mileage wasn't bad at all. It's a great towing vehicle for you know, a midsizer. So if you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, but be sure to comment whether or not you liked it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Just let me know so I can improve. Thanks again. Have a great day.